Hello there, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I'm your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now today I've decided to do a quick video on a question from a viewer because I really encourage people to drop me a line if I'm able to assist in any way. And today's topic is one which I'm particularly interested in, that of luxury men's wristwatches, bit of a theme which I've always enjoyed. And it's a question from a viewer called Adam. Now I'll read out what he's sent and then I'll perhaps just discuss some of my thoughts on his query. So he says, "Hi Ash, I'm interested in buying my first Rolex, but I've been dreading the visit to the authorised dealer and all that comes with it. I've been doing my research and consoling myself with the fact that I'm after a Datejust, and it's one of the more readily available models. You've mentioned in the videos that you've done in the past that you can often find the Datejust available at authorised dealers, but the ones like the stainless steel blue dial, which is my preference, are a little harder to come by. Having learned of the difficulties of purchasing a Rolex, what do you think is the likely availability of this variant of Datejust for somebody with no authorised dealer relationship? I am in an English city and have the option of a large chain and a smaller authorised dealer with only 3 UK branches. Would you recommending approaching one over the other? Thanks, Adam." Well, Adam, thank you, sir, for your question. And of course, it's a question I'm sure many gentlemen face or have faced over the last couple of years, because if you're interested in getting into the luxury watch market, the one place where many people seek to begin that journey is with Rolex, which is one of the more famous and well-regarded luxury wristwatch brands. However, at the moment, it's very challenging to buy a Rolex because they're so popular that the laws of economics tell us when supply falls below demand, it's very hard to get the watch. And that's the situation we're in at the moment. If you walk into a Rolex shop today, you'll be lucky to find any watches which are available to the public. They may have watches for display purposes only, but most likely you'll have to enter a kind of waiting list, although there's no such thing as a waiting list. There'll be a preference list where you'll express interest in a watch in the hope that that authorised dealer will call you back at some point in the future when your chosen watch is available. Now, lots have changed recently. The geopolitical situation around the world means that luxury markets are opening up and some are closing down. It doesn't escape anybody who is abreast of world affairs that there's a very unpleasant war taking place in Ukraine. And that means that the Russian market has effectively closed down to the luxury watches and all other things in the world. This means that, are more watches going to be available to everybody else? The China market, the biggest market in the world, what's going on there? There's still the consequences of the COVID pandemic. There are lockdowns. Is this affecting the sort of number of watches which are available in the West, where we're talking about this potential customer comes from? He comes from England. I was at a watch club meeting, a Red Bar meeting a few weeks ago, and one of the chaps I was talking to during the course of the day told me that he has a very strong relationship with his authorised dealer in another part of the world, and they told him that they were seeing unprecedented deliveries from Rolex. Twice the number of watches they used to be getting have started to come through. We know that over the last few years, Rolex has invested money in building another production facility in Geneva, and this is likely to increase their manufacturing capability. Has that come online? Is this the reason why more watches are seeping through to the retail market? Who knows? We don't know, because Rolex are a very secretive organisation. All we know is that we want to buy a watch and they're generally not there. So, there's lots going on. And of course, the world is changing. The increases in global sort of fuel, things like gas, electricity, in the United Kingdom, where this question comes from, prices are going up on gas, for instance, 100%, maybe more, because of those geopolitical problems we've talked about. So, does this mean that people who have large liabilities when it comes to fuel? Are they going to be cutting their cloth somewhat differently? And they're going to decide, well, actually, I was going to buy a Rolex or something else, or maybe a sports car or a Jaguar or whatever, but because of things going on in the world, I'm not going to. I'm going to be careful. Has this meant that there have been more watches washing around on the market and we're seeing more coming through? Is that the reason why there's been a softening of the secondary value or the aftermarket prices of Rolex pre-owned? We've seen a reduction of something like 20 to 25% in grey market value of Rolex watches in the last 3 to 4 months. There's lots going on in the watch world right now. So it could be, Adam, a good time to chance your arm, to walk into that authorised dealer and begin the journey. It is true to say the watch you've selected, the 40, well, I'm making a presumption there. You didn't say what size Rolex you were interested in. But I'm going to guess it's 41 millimeters because that is by far the more popular, I guess, for men in the modern era. And it's true to say that the 41 millimeter stainless steel Datejust in the blue dial is probably one of the most desirable watches from that collection from the Rolex catalogue. You know, the blue dial Datejust has always been very, very popular. I'm wearing my own blue dial Rolex Datejust today in stainless steel. Mine is a 36 millimeter. It was my first ever luxury watch. I absolutely adore it and I wear it all the time because it's classical, it is elegant, and for a Rolex it's got a lot of history. It's just about the oldest watch in their catalogue at the moment. Traces its history back to 1945 when the Datejust was originally released on the Jubilee bracelet, and to this day, you know, a modern Datejust still looks incredibly similar. The DNA is overwhelmingly similar to those 1945 models. So it's great to have a watch which has a historical background and that sort of heritage. Now, whilst I say the blue dial is very, very popular and has remained so for many years, of course, Rolex brings out new dial variations every year. That's what they do with the Datejust. They just keep bringing out new dials. And in 2022, they brought out a fabulously, I think, beautiful dial in the mint green option. It's got that sort of sunburst effect, that graduated sunburst effect on the dial, as well as same as the blue Datejust I've got. But that mint green is beautiful. And I'd be very surprised if that is not the most desired Datejust for the moment and in the short to medium term. Last year they brought out the Datejust with that palm leaf motif. I don't think it was quite so popular, but every year there's something new coming out, different motifs and emblems on the dial which keep the Datejust relevant and exciting. And the blue is always up there as very desirable. So as an option for yourself, you've chosen one which is a beautiful watch and it is, certainly one of the most attractive. The Datejust is popular for very good reason. As I say, it stood the test of time, but also it's available in so many variations. And I've said this in other videos I've done in the past about the Datejust. I think there's a watch in that collection for just about everybody. For the ladies, there's the 26, I think it's the 31 millimeter. There's I think there's a 36 millimeter. There's the 41 millimeter. There's a whole range there. Whatever size wrist you've got, one of those watches is going to fit. When it comes to the material the watch is made of, you've got watches, two-tone watches, which are made of oyster steel and gold, which have Everose gold, which is effectively a rose gold. There's the yellow gold. They've got the full stainless steel models. They've got all the beauty and the various elements of that precious metal woven throughout the watch. The fluted bezel is available as well as the smooth bezel. But for me, I think the fluted bezel on the Jubilee strap is really absolutely iconic when it comes to the Datejust. But there's the oyster bracelet if you prefer the slightly more sporty look. And the beauty of the Datejust is, as well as looking smart and very presentable and perfectly serviceable as a dress watch, it's as rugged as hell. You know, it's 100-meter, water resistant with a screw down crown. It's got an Oyster perpetual case. It is as tough as old boots. It's just about as hardy as any of the watches in the professional range from Rolex. So don't be thinking this old stager in the collection is a watch just to be worn with a suit. Absolutely not. You can wear it in just about any situation. And of course, because there are so many different dials, whatever your taste, you'll find something that you love. You know, if you want the classic looks, there's the simple blacks and the white dials. You've got the various different colours which are available today. You've got the Wimbledon dial. You've got the more fancy motif dials of the recent years. You will find a watch which suits you. And of course, because it's one of the sort of linchpin watches in the Rolex collection, you'd like to think they're made in perhaps larger numbers than many of the professional range watches. I'm sure they are. And sometimes you will find them in the authorised dealer. Certainly it'll be a two-tone, most likely, you know, a gold and steel variety, but you will definitely be able to get your hands on a stainless steel model if that is the one that floats your boat. So how do you do it? Well, oh, aeroplane flying overhead. For sure, you need to go in those authorised dealers. And in your note here, you say you've got two options available to you. You've got a national chain, probably Watches of Switzerland, I'm guessing. And then you've got a smaller chain of jewellery stores in which you think there's only about 4 branches. By all means, approach both and express your preference for that watch in both of those stores. Right, then remember, they're totally separate entities. They're not connected in any way. Rolex are not going to know or care that you're seeking your watch in both of those stores. Get out there, get in those stores and tell them, I want this particular watch. The sooner you embark upon that relationship building journey with those authorized dealers, the more likelihood you will receive that watch in swift time. Build the relationship. Go in there, tell them, that you want this watch, why you want it, you know all about it, you've researched it. Let them know that you are a watch lover and this is something that you've wanted to add to your collection for a while, because they will be more inclined to see you as perhaps a long-term customer who, once they've sold you that watch, you come back time and time again. It's all about business from their point of view. Build the relationship, but don't become annoying, all right? Once you've expressed that preference, pop in 2 or 3 months and say, how are things going? Don't forget, I'm on the list. What's the supply of Rolex watches like at the moment? Are they moving? Are we seeing the type of watch I want passing through the store? How are things looking? Stay interested, but don't become annoying. Don't come across as all stalkery and popping in every week or placing a phone call every week and kind of saying, where's my watch? I'm still waiting. Make it known you're interested, but you're not a pain in the arse. That is the tightrope that you've got to walk. And I'm sure you will get there. I mean, I bought my 36mm stainless steel Blueface Datejust in 2018. And I just walked into a store, there was one in the window. Lots of things have changed since then, particularly in the luxury watch world. But begin your journey and you will get there. Do not fear. And you will get that watch for retail price. Do not be tempted to ever think about buying a Datejust on the secondary market for a premium. It's not necessary. You will find that Datejust. It is merely a matter of time and perseverance. And when you do, you will have a watch which can be with you for the rest of your life. It's rugged, it's tough, it's beautiful. It's worth the wait. Persevere. I know many people think, oh my God, do I really have to go on this dating situation with my authorized dealer just to buy a watch, to part with a lot of money for a luxury item? Well, tragically, you do. If to own a Rolex, you've got to dance to the tune of the authorized dealer at the moment. It'll be worth it. Stick it out, sir, Adam, and you will get there. And you will love it. I have. You will too. So I hope you've enjoyed this advice that I've been able to give to Adam today. If you would like to ask me a question about luxury watches or anything else, you know how to do so. Drop me a comment in the comment section below, or drop me an email, and you'll find my email address in the About section on the main YouTube page for the Chap's Guide channel. If you've enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, click the red button, become a subscriber. If you want to practically support the channel, look down in the comment section below and you will find a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page, and you can buy me a coffee. That's a great way of helping out. So until the next time, take care of yourselves, and I will see you again very soon.